Alright, my hair's a little messed up. I'm at my apartment to clean up a bit. Um, there was a letter on my door, so I'll open it up and read it a little bit. It's too thin to be my paperwork. Way too thin. I gotta walk to the other end of town in order to download this video when I'm done. Um, it takes a lot longer to download a video than it does to actually make it. That's why the live feed is so good. Live feed allows me to say it in real time and not have to do a bunch of work afterwards. It's pretty obvious after the last 4 years of hell that the police are going to do everything in their power not to investigate any crimes against me. See, if they investigate crimes against me and I get a day in court, it lends an ear to the things that I'm saying. The police know they cannot allow me to do that. If they do that, it lends me an ear. If people actually listen to me and actually take a look at the evidence, these officers go to prison. Several judges will be going to prison. None of my public pretenders will ever be allowed to pretend to be lawyers again. None, not a single one. When a disabled person is trying to turn in their predators, the cops need to fucking do something. Now, what is it that the cops could have possibly done that is so terrible that they're willing to turn a blind eye to every crime against me? I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the number of crimes that I have posted up here, the number of conversations with people that verify that I was telling the truth. Leslie Paul, actually, I guess it's Leslie Snell now. She works at the Dual County Sheriff's Department. She might not work there anymore. I don't know if she does or not. But she said that the FBI has a file, and this place has a file, and that place has a file, and somehow magically none of these places have the evidence that I'm trying to give them. For some odd reason, not one person has made any attempt to collect the evidence. No matter how hard I try. They play on the term mentally ill to get away with these crimes. Sheriff Scott DaCosta, he wants to pretend like because he didn't use the term mentally ill, that it makes it okay. No, it doesn't. If you beat up a black man for being black, it doesn't matter if you use the N-word or not. You still beat him up, didn't you? Oh, well, it's okay that I beat him up because I didn't use the N-word. You're a fucking idiot. Now, the other thing is, there's a lot of people here who have issues with Cindy. Several of them have moved out as a result of it. I personally moved out in 2017 because of Cindy. I had to make a choice. I could either stay here, miserable, in a town where I left because people here are fucking shitty if you're different. If you're not the pretty one, then it is always your fault. Ken Zarecki. He's popular. He's good looking. So it's alright for him to be a child molester. It is okay for Kenneth Zarecki to be a child molester. Y'all want to know why I'm so pissed off all the goddamn time? Because the cops are helping the child molesters. The cops helped Ted Bollinger. Helped Ted Bollinger to frame me for crimes that I didn't commit. The man raped his own fucking daughters. He sold his own daughter into prostitution to pay off his debts. People want to protect Ken Zarecki. You are protecting a child molester. Not only that, but a child molester who literally threatened to kill a woman if she told anybody. Well, guess what? She told me. And I have the evidence that she told me. But I have to be afraid of going to the police about this. Why do I take this to YouTube? Why do I take these things to Facebook? Because when you are called mentally ill, people can do whatever they want to you, up to and including raping and murdering you. Most of these women who send me all these messages, they tell me their sob stories. And guess what? Most of these women whose predators got away, their predators got away by calling them mentally ill. You end up with PTSD from being raped. And the fucking cops want to treat you like you're a fucking lunatic. You have just been raped. Obviously, you're not going to be all ray of fucking sunshiny. Oh, I just got raped. What the fuck? Most of these women came to me for help thinking that I could lend an ear, that I could extend an ear on my YouTube channel. I'm trying. I can't fight for your cases until mine is over. And in order for mine to be over, I need help. None of these women are helping me. They want my help. Are you not seeing how this is an impossibility? Not an improbability. An impossibility. If you aren't going to fight for me, but I am fighting for you. But me fighting for you makes no difference whatsoever unless someone fights for me. It's not doing you any good. It's not doing me any good. I suppose, since we got this here letter, it's probably a good time to open it and read it. It'd probably say that I have to go back out into the cold. Now, if that's what it says, that's what I'll do. Paperwork says you gotta go out into a blizzard and freeze to death. That's a different story. Between freezing to death and breaking in, yeah. I'll break into this goddamn place not to freeze to death. Freezing to death is a fucking shitty way to go. Oh my fucking god. I seriously need a new back. I'm afraid for a reason. Now, these people here at Low Income wanted to bitch at me about scaring people. It's not my fault they're scared. It's not my decision for them to be scared. Yes, I busted out some goddamn windows, but isn't that better than busting in some heads? I suppose it depends on who you are and what your belief system is. A lot of you guys think that I should cut the balls off of child molesters. or I should shoot them in the head. Yeah, I'm not going to shoot Ken Zarecki in the head, and I'm not going to cut his balls off. I'm not going to shoot Ted Bollinger in the head, and I'm not going to cut his balls off. I have had access to all of my predators at some point or another. I've had the ability to kill them on multiple occasions, many of those occasions, simply because the police did not want to do their jobs. They wanted me to move on, move on, move on, move on. That's what it's like being homeless. Then you don't have the same opportunities as others. When you're called mentally ill, there's a lot of shit you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to make a police report without someone present. People keep saying, well, I can't help you, Sean. I'm not a lawyer. I don't need a fucking lawyer. I can't get a lawyer until I have someone who gives a shit, who is going to be by my side, who is going to bear witness to this shit. Obviously, Megan, that's my autism advocate's name, isn't going to do anything. She is on the other end of the state. And who can I depend on this end of the state? Nobody. Do I go to Region 1? No. Jen Beebe was going to come forward. I found out that the police did not turn on their body cameras. When I let Jen Beebe know that, her tune changed completely. See, when she thought that they could have possibly had their body cameras on, she was afraid to lie. Because it would have been on the body camera. Now that she knows that there's no body cameras, which is my fault, I shouldn't have told her that, but I believed that she was going to do what she said she was going to do. I believed because I had to. But how can I go to Region 1 when Jen Beebe is working there? How can I go to Region 1 when her bosses are hell-bent on hiring or on covering up her crimes? Because by not coming forward about it, she is committing felonies. She is committing felonies. When you are called mentally ill, you have zero rights. Zero. Obviously, I'm not the one who is on drugs. Natalie was. But everywhere I go, these folks try to peg me as some sort of fucking druggy criminal mastermind. Shit. In Rawlins, Wyoming, they tried claiming that the things that they did was because of a history of drug use. Meanwhile, when I had to go to court, they went all the way back to 1983 to a shoplifting. Apparently when I was 2 years old, I was shoplifting. I was born in 1980, but I was born in October of 1980. That's the very end of October. It's the end of the year, damn near. So, they manufactured a drug history for me. And they manufactured a criminal history for me. How fucking stupid do those cops have to be to try to create a history, a criminal history, going back to when I was 2 years old? How fucking stupid do those cops have to be? Meanwhile, every step of the way, you can see where the cops treated me like shit, automatically assumed my guilt, and punished me without a day in court. That's what all of these people who have threatened, harassed, intimidated, and assaulted me have done. They have passed judgment without an honest day in court. If you are prevented from showing evidence because you are called mentally ill, if you are prevented from turning in your predators because you are called mentally ill, if you are blown off by the police over and over and over again while being harmed, then there's a major issue here. Those of you on my channel who want to offer support, instead of offering support, I want you to do me an actual favor. I want you to speak up. All right. Chapel Housing Authority, 702 Hayward Avenue, P.O. Box 348, Chapel, Nebraska, 69129. Let's read this. Sean Schwartz, P.O. Box 123, Chapel, Nebraska, 69129. Mr. Schwartz, you are hereby notified that you are in violation of your lease with the Chapel Housing Authority with respect to the following. Violation of lease. On Wednesday, September 23, 2020, deputies were dispatched to your unit at 702 Hayward, Unit 103, Chapel, Nebraska, 69129. Case number 20-2760, criminal activity. As stated in your lease dated April 9th, 2020. Like I told you, the paperwork that they were supposed to give me 8 months ago, paperwork that 8 months ago would have helped me to get an actual honest day in court. And to this day, they still haven't given it to me. Holy shit. It says, the tenant further agrees to assure that the tenant, any member of the household guest, or other person under the tenant's control shall not engage in any criminal activity that threatens the health, safety, or right to peaceful enjoyment of the housing authority's public housing premises by other residents or employees of the housing authority. All right, well, under that, that means that the Chapel Housing Authority has violated it, and so has the police department, by creating a zone of danger around me. They created this zone of danger around me by doing everything in their power to hide the crimes that they committed, to try to peg me as a mentally ill person so that I couldn't turn in my predators, allowing my predators to gain access again and again and again to repeatedly do physical harm, mental harm, and financial harm to me. Let's see, any criminal activity, all right, we already read that part, of the housing authority's public housing premise by other residents or employees of the housing authority, a 30-day eviction notice will be served to a tenant who has engaged in drugs or criminal activity. A 3-day notice for eviction will be served for violent criminal or violent drug-related criminal activity. Accordingly, you are hereby notified that Chapel Housing Authority is terminating the lease for the unit 702 Hayward Avenue, apartment 103, Chapel, Nebraska 69129, and you must vacate the premises by September 28th, 2020. So, 3 days. Should you object to this notice, you may present your grievance to the Housing Authority office in writing within 14 days or by 10/9/2020. A copy of the grievance procedure is posted in the central office, R89A, Woodley Park Road, Deering, Nebraska, and is available to you. So I have to travel to Deering, Nebraska to do this. Holy shit. Fucking goddamn motherfuckers. I gotta go all the way to Deering. I don't have a vehicle. I got a fucking golf cart For shit's fucking sake. Anyway, you are further advised that you may reply to this action and that you have the right to examine housing authority documents directly relevant to this termination. I need all of the documents, which they have repeatedly denied. Now, they have repeatedly said that they're going to because it is against the law to deny it. It is against the law for them to deny me that information. Yet, here we are, 8 months later, they still haven't gotten it to me, and Cindy is still playing fucking retarded. Now, we have a Violence Against Women's Act. We don't have this for men. It's okay to do this to men. By law, there are special rights for women, but none for men. If this happens to men, we have nothing that we can do. A lot of you guys tell me, oh, well, Sean, you should do this, you should do that, you should do the other. But you're not pegged that's mentally ill. You have family in your corner. You have friends who will actually help you instead of giving you lip service. It says, Notice of Occupancy Rights under the Violence Against Women Act. The Violence Against Women Act provides certain protections for victims of domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, and stalking, regardless of sex, gender, identity, or sexual orientation. So, this is supposed to be for men too, correct? They've ignored all of that. All of that they've ignored with me. Every bit of it. Let's go through this. Victims of domestic violence. That means within your household. Domestic violence, well, that would be like when I was living at Ken and Leah's and I was assaulted by one of the other roommates. These are actual criminals. These are actual drug users. These are actual drug dealers. They got lucky because Natalie Bollinger had somebody shoot her in the head. I was attempting to take legal action against Natalie Bollinger and her family and friends, as well as take legal action against Ken and Leah. That's what I went to Miss Peach's house specifically for on the 26th of December of 2017. After several months of conversing with Jeff Ritter from the Colorado Coalition of the Homeless. Now, he was aware of quite a bit of what was going on, but mostly, just like with all of these people, we focused on what they wanted. The steps that I have to take and have to jump through in order to be able to defend myself against these predators. These predators are allowed to harm me because of the tag mentally ill. Are you not understanding this? That it doesn't matter how much evidence I got. It doesn't. Because nobody is going to look at it because I was called mentally ill. Now, if I am allowed to show this evidence, then I can take legal action against the hospital in Scotts Bluff. I can take legal action against Region 1. I can take legal action against Chapel Housing Authority. I can take legal action against these officers and against these courts. I still have the evidence that all of this abuse that I have endured is over a lie by 3 druggies. Natalie Bollinger, Alicia Bollinger, Maddie Boa. Come forward, you cunts. You got innocent people killed. What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh yeah, you're on fucking drugs. You're fucking selfish. Fucking goddamn nasty fucking people. Anyway, we'll get back to this. Residents of CHA housing may not be evicted solely because they have been a victim of domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, or stalking, or solely on the basis of criminal activity directly relating to domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, or stalking. Your VAWA rights and responsibilities are described in the VAWA addendum, which was provided with your lease. No, it wasn't. If you need a copy of the VAWA addendum, please contact your building's property manager at 89A Woodley Park Road, Gering, Nebraska 69341, and a copy will be provided. Cindy Taylor, housing manager. That's Cindy Taylor. She is also one of my predators. She is predatory towards a lot of the people here in housing. People are not happy with her. If you guys want to look up the situation with Sydney housing, that's Sydney, Nebraska housing. Yeah, same lady. Same exact lady. She's in some trouble there in Sydney, isn't she? You're goddamn right she is. And of course, it doesn't provide a phone number. So I have to go to Gering, Nebraska in order to do that as well. So literally what they have done is barred me from access to this. I do not have access to Gering, Nebraska. In addition, I do need to bring charges against Cindy. But I, being called mentally ill, am not allowed to do these things. You have no idea how many people have treated me completely like shit because after the 100th time that they told me to do something that I'm not allowed to do, I got pissed off. They're allowed to get pissed off at me because I'm not allowed to do these things. They're allowed to be pissed off at me because the outcome that they wanted, which that outcome would have happened if they'd actually taken part instead of just telling me what to do. But they're allowed to be pissed off at me because it didn't work out. I'm not allowed to be pissed off at them because it didn't work out because they didn't do anything. When you were called mentally ill, all of the things that you guys tell me that I should be doing, I'm not allowed. I am barred from doing so by law. I literally have one option and one option only, and that is to take the abuse. And all it'll take is one person who gives a shit enough to look at the fucking evidence. Now, there's a lady yesterday who agreed to at least try. It's good. Plus, she's sober, which is also good. Britt Roloff wasn't sober. He also didn't keep his word. Shannon Alvarado wasn't sober. She also didn't keep her word. Y'all seeing a pattern here? You want to pretend that I'm fucking retarded. Now, when I tried to turn in the officers that I had to deal with to Sheriff DaCosta, I asked him if he watched it. He only watched enough of it to get the part that he wanted to interpret as mentally ill so that it would alleviate his officers. I said, "Did you watch it?" He said, "I watched the beginning." I said, "Why didn't you watch all of it?" He said, "Well, your friend said that you were bipolar." I said, "He didn't say I was bipolar. He said that I was autistic." So, after that, the sheriff did everything that he could to try to have me diagnosed as bipolar to make it okay that his cops didn't do their jobs. I've never been bipolar. Never. Never been schizophrenic either. But that's the thing, is that when you try to turn in your predators, and your predators have a position of power, they can abuse that position of power to prevent you from turning them in. When you are called mentally ill, you literally have to have somebody there and present. Literally. That is the help that I need. Hooking me up with somebody 400 fucking miles away is no goddamn help at all. I mean, sure, I got into housing here, but I still have to take the abuse. Now, Megan, my supposedly autism advocate, hasn't done a goddamn thing about the autism thing. She hasn't done a goddamn thing about the abuse. If I jump through all of these hoops, then I will get help. And then I jump through all the hoops, and all I get is abuse over and over and over again. And I can't go to the police. The police here are invested in preventing me from showing evidence in court. They are invested in hiding their crimes. Let's see if there's some more we can read. Got two more pieces of paper here. All right. The Chapel Housing Authority, 702 Hayward Avenue, P.O. Box 348, Chapel, Nebraska, 69129. Phone number 308-874-2715. Fax number 308-632-0476. Notice of trespass. Mr. Sean Schwartz, 702 Hayward Avenue, Apartment 103. You are hereby notified, as of this 24th day of September 2020, you are prohibited from entering upon the real property commonly known as Chapel Housing Authority and are restrained from harassing and or intimidating representatives, agents, and any residents of the Chapel Housing Authority. Meanwhile, it's okay for them to threaten, harass, and intimidate me. It says, failure to heed this notice and entrance upon the above described premises will be treated as criminal trespass. Any attempted harassment or intimidation of the above described individuals shall result in immediate prosecution dated this 24th day of September 2020. Signed, Cindy Taylor, landowner, agent, and attorney. Oh, she's an attorney. That explains why she's hiding shit. Certificate of Service. The undersigned hereby certifies that the above and foregoing notice of trespass was sent by Dual County Sheriff's Department to Sean Schwartz on the 24th day of September 2020. They didn't send it to me. They put it on the door. Let's see. It says, Mr. Sean Schwartz, 702 Hayward Avenue, Apartment 103, Chapel, Nebraska, 69129. Dear Sean Schwartz, please be advised that the Chapel Housing Authority is aware that we have an incident report case number 20-2760 criminal activity. Therefore, Mr. Schwartz, the purpose of this letter is to advise you that you are barred from entering any of the Chapel Housing Authority properties because of the above report on file. We have the right to ban and bar you from our apartments to prevent you from causing any further disturbances on our property or to our residents. The Chapel Housing Authority has very strict rules with relation to our tenants and activities on our premises. Therefore, your presence on any Chapel Housing Authority property could also threaten residents' housing. Well, that's pretty fucked up, ain't it? Please be advised that if you do enter and remain on any Chapel Housing Authority property, that such action will be considered trespassing. You will be arrested for trespassing on our property. If you have any questions concerning this letter, please contact Chapel Housing Authority. Sincerely, Cindy Taylor. Alright, well, now that we've got all of that taken care of, and now that I know that being here is illegal, I hope y'all don't mind that I'm leaving. Now, obviously, this bars me from gathering anything in my household. It's a good thing the lady who helped me earlier helped me to gather some of the stuff that was important. The stuff that we gathered was, well, evidence. Yes, in every single situation, the evidence is the first thing I grab. Every time, without exception. Just because they won't look at the evidence doesn't mean I don't have it. And their continued failure to investigate any of the crimes against me or even look at the evidence has resulted in repeated offenses against me. But I get blown off. If I talk to the police the way that I talk to you guys right now on this video, I get blown off. I literally have to do drastic shit, like light things on fire, break fucking windows, and threaten the President of the United States. That is how desperate I am to get the crimes committed against me to stop. I should not have to engage in criminal activities to get the police to look at the criminal activities against me. Anyway, since it is apparently illegal for me to be at my own household, I am grabbing important things, charging cords, my Bible, military gas mask, now I have 2 firearms here. This right here is a toy. You see how it's broken on the side? It's made by Mattel. This right here is a Winchester 2000, made in the Philippines. It's got a little nobbin on the side here. Why is that? Because this is not a real shotgun. I'll show you what goes in it. Well, I would show you what goes in it, but I can't find the clip. It's got these little white BBs. They're fucking cute as shit. Alright, I need to find a jacket. There's some electric tape, that's always useful. Rolling papers, always useful. And that is the Cypher grenade launcher. Harmonica, more electrical tape, and I suppose you can call that good. I literally cannot take care of myself. I literally cannot defend myself. I literally have to endure the abuse. That's why I begged for death. I already knew that all I needed was one person actually in my corner to speak up, but they were all afraid, and I can prove that too. They were afraid of the police, they were afraid of the volunteers, they were afraid of vigilantes. I'm afraid of them too. But I don't have a choice except to stand up to them. See, it's one thing to say, oh, well, you know, if you just ignore them, it'll go away. This isn't high school bullying, people. This is worse. Anyway, these belong to Jason Jepson, Big J. I cannot afford to have them taken because they don't belong to me. Anyway, I'm going to turn this off so I can pack this up and leave, since apparently it's trespassing.